Another beautiful day in Gravity Falls. If you're new in town, I recommend paying a visit to Stan Pine's Mystery Shack, swinging by Lil Gideon Gleeful's Tented Telepathy, and of course, checking out the endless mysteries, monsters, and mad secrets that will change how you see the world forever. When you think of the best animated TV shows of the last few decades, there's a few names that are bound to come up. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Samurai Jack, The Clone Wars, Justice League Unlimited, DuckTales, and so many more. But no list is complete without one show that combined unpredictable mysteries with all-ages comedy, a wonderful cast of characters, and a healthy dose of Twin Peaks. And that's Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls ran for 40 episodes on the Disney Channel and Disney XD from June 15, 2012 through February 15, 2016, and was created by Alex Hirsch. Taking place over one crazy summer, the show follows twins Dipper and Mabel Pines, who spend the season with their grunkle Stan in the strange, tiny Oregon town of Gravity Falls, helping to run his tourist trap mystery shack and while away their time. But Gravity Falls is much stranger than it seems, and when Dipper discovers a journal that documents all the weird creatures and occurrences of the town, our group of family and friends is off on an adventure that will change their lives, and maybe the world. To me, what makes Hirsch & Company's cartoon so wonderful is that it works on so many different levels. Just want to laugh? You got it. Want characters with complex arcs across the entire season? There's so many of them here. Want a twisting mystery that rewards many different rewatches? You got it. And you can enjoy all of these aspects at the same time without sacrificing one for the other. Come with me as we journey to Gravity Falls and uncover its mysteries, the stories behind the show, how Hirsch & Company have kept its world alive in the years following its end,
and the interdimensional demon hell-bent on destroying the
very fabric of reality.
That's right, it's time for another beautiful summer in Gravity Falls, one of the greatest animated shows of all time. The story of Gravity Falls takes us far beyond the boundaries of time, space, and reality. But to truly understand its impact, we have to begin in our own world. And the origins of Gravity Falls and its real-life inspirations all start with one man, Alex Hirsch. Shortly after graduating from Cal Arts, Hirsch worked on several animated series including The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack and co-creating Fishhooks for the Disney Channel. And soon enough, Hirsch's fast-track record of success led to Disney inviting him to pitch a brand new series for the Disney Channel. According to Hirsch, he pitched 3 shows to Disney: a show about time-traveling dolphins, a show about time-traveling gentlemen, and Gravity Falls. I bet you can guess which one they went with. From there, Hirsch went on to personally storyboard an 11-minute version of the pilot episode, which was expanded into the show's first episode following Mabel and the Gnomes, when Gravity Falls was greenlit to a full season order, going on to premiere on June 15, 2012, with its first 20-episode season running through August 2, 2013. And when you look at the small shifts from the pilot episode, Tourist Trapped, to the second episode and the first in the full season order, The Legend of the Gobblewonker, you can see the tone of the entire show established really quickly, with it only getting better as it goes along. But the central vision of the show is all Hirsch. Hirsch grew up in Piedmont, California and has a twin sister named Ariel. And during the course of their childhood, Alex and Ariel's mom had them spend multiple summers with their great aunt in the woods, with Hirsch saying, "We had no friends out there, no internet connection, no video games, no nothing. We had to make our own fun. And in an absence of anyone to get along with, we had to get along with each other. That situation forced us to become better friends and made us closer." And over the course of the show, Dipper and Mabel's growing bond becomes the major through line. That family inspiration applies to Grunkle Stan as well, with Hirsch's real-life Grandpa Stan constantly making up stories and messing with his grandkids for fun. And it's these familial connections baked into the show that adds a real warmth and sense of understanding of its characters. Every person here is flawed, weird in some way, and makes a lot of mistakes, but they have real value. There are some terrifying and purely evil forces in the world of Gravity Falls, but the strange and unknown is worth exploring. It's really a kid's dream come true, that everything you could imagine outside in the wide open world isn't just real, but the things are stranger and more exciting than you could ever predict. As for the art style of the show, Gravity Falls puts a heavy focus on caricature without becoming overly exaggerated or grotesque. Mabel and Dipper are very small and round compared to their surroundings and other characters, highlighting their remaining childhood. Meanwhile, Stan, Seuss, and Wendy have extreme proportions and facial features that are distilled down to just a few specific shapes. And yet they all feel like real people instead of cartoons. It helps that they're often contrasted against supernatural beings that are even more exaggerated, really pushing the extremities of size, shape, and expression. Meanwhile, the backgrounds are chock full of details that add to the town's identity. Gravity Falls is a small town full of character, and every home, restaurant, cave, and dimension feels like its own unique, lived-in place. It's all done in really vibrant colors that evoke the summer season, as well as the dark and foreboding woods that hide many mysteries. Outside of Hirsch as showrunner and co-writer on most episodes, Mike Rianda served as creative director, Brad Breeck composed the score, which adds so much mystery, comedy, and drama, Ian Worrell as art director, Sarah Sherman as casting director, Phil Rinda as production designer, Kevin Lucaro as editor, and a fairly small group of writers worked hand in hand with Hirsch to create outlandish scenarios for episodes, recenter the stories on the characters, and pack as many jokes in as possible. The result is one of the best animated shows I've ever seen. Gravity Falls follows twins Dipper, voiced by Jason Ritter, and Mabel Pines, voiced by Kristen Schaal, who are sent by their parents to stay the summer with their great uncle Stan Pines, voiced by Alex Hirsch, in the small Oregon town of Gravity Falls, helping out at Stan's rinky-dink tourist trap attraction, the Mystery Shack. But shortly after arriving, Dipper finds a long-hidden journal marked with a six-fingered hand and the number 3. In it are the chronicles of an unknown author who explored Gravity Falls years ago and detailed the many strange creatures and encounters hidden within the town. Soon, Dipper and Mabel's slow summer becomes a wild adventure, with the twins guided by the journal and meeting everything from gnomes to ghosts to time travelers to dinosaurs and so much more. Eventually coming face to face with villainous child psychic Gideon Gleeful and the interdimensional dream demon Bill Cipher, all while their Grunkle Stan remains oblivious to their supernatural circumstances. Or does he? And that's just season 1. Whereas season 1 is mostly a series of one-off adventures that slowly build a mystery surrounding the identity of the author, the true nature of Grunkle Stan, and Gideon's growing grudge, Season 2 pushes into a massive interconnected story, where all the secrets are revealed and Bill Cipher launches a reality-warping takeover of our world. I'll save the spoilers for later, but while I absolutely love how Gravity Falls creates a really amazing world of the strange through both episodic stories and decipherable lore, what makes the show really special are its characters. And it's clear that the team was truly invested in making these lovable people into well-rounded characters with layers, quirks, and real emotions that are affected by the many strange and silly things they encounter along the way. Dipper is a 12-year-old boy who can't quite fit in anywhere, but he is extremely smart, loyal, and sincere, while also being incredibly nervous and uncertain of himself, with Jason Ritter giving a wonderfully energetic, boyish performance that's really endearing.
If I've learned anything this summer, it's that you can't force someone to love you. The best you can do is strive to be someone worthy of loving.
The discovery of Journal Number 3 gives Dipper a sense of purpose and a gigantic puzzle to solve, becoming something he can rely on when his self-doubts take over. And his journey across 2 seasons is to find confidence in himself, and know that he has the skills and smarts to make a difference on his own. As for Dipper's relationship to Hirsch, the creator has said the character is him in middle school in the awkward phase between childhood and teenhood, wanting to grow up and trying to leave the kiddie stuff behind, with not really any place that he belongs. But Dipper will need to overcome an anxiety and self-doubt that started with the forehead birthmark he covers up that inspired his nickname, with his real name being Mason. In its pilot episode, Dipper doesn't just find the all-important Journal Number 3, but a message that will inform the entire arc of the show.
Remember, in Gravity Falls, there is no one you can trust. No one you can trust.
That same episode quickly refutes Dipper's growing distrust by showing that Mabel will always be worthy of his trust. But there's plenty of revelations to come that shake Dipper's trust in not just the town, not just the nature of the world, but in Stan specifically. Mabel is Dipper's hyperactive and incessantly positive sister, with her attitude and love of crazy sweaters directly pulled from the real Ariel Hirsch. And unlike Dipper, Mabel always believes in herself, overcoming how others like Pacifica see her as an awkward weirdo. Mabel's overactive imagination plays in perfect tandem with the actual weirdness found in the falls, helping her roll with all the strange reveals and new challenges, using her imagination to save the day versus Dipper's more grounded need for intellectual solutions. It would be really easy for a show to make Mabel the butt of the joke, but it speaks a lot to the sweetness of Gravity Falls that while Mabel's ridiculousness is really funny, there's an embrace of who she is that means we never want her to change. We just want her to keep growing into the best version of herself. Mabel may be boy crazy and easily distracted by her fantasies, but being who she is helps save the day.
He said Mabel! Either that or doorbell. Did you say Mabel or doorbell?
Kristen Schall's performance is a wonderful marriage of actress and character, with Hirsch saying he had her in mind for Mabel since the beginning. And while Schall is unmistakable for anyone else, it's such a charming and real performance that balances out Mabel's over-the-top nature. Grunkle Stan, voiced by Hirsch, is Dipper and Mabel's great uncle who runs the Mystery Shack, a tourist trap filled with all sorts of obviously fake mythical creatures and curiosities, with Stan the ultimate con man, always in search of a quick buck and not afraid to break the law to stay ahead.
My light! You're the light of my life too, pal. Whew, freak show.
But he's a much more complex character than he seems at first, refusing to believe Dipper's claims of supernatural encounters, but hiding a huge secret. He's a rough-edged grouch with a buried heart of gold. Stan is just one of many characters voiced by Hirsch along with Seuss, the lovable man-child oaf with a sad childhood that has a natural connection with the twins. Bill Cipher, who we'll get into more later, and who Hirsch wanted to be voiced by David Lynch, resulting in Hirsch doing a Lynch imitation, and other minor characters throughout.
The blind eye! Robes, the men, my mind, they did something!
There's also Wendy Corduroy, voiced by Linda Cardellini, a super cool and laid-back 15-year-old working at the shack for the summer that Dipper develops a huge crush on. She highlights Dipper's awkwardness and desire to grow up already, but is supportive, kind, and strong. And there's Lil Gideon Gleeful, voiced by Thurup Van Orman, a fraud child psychic with all the stylings and greed of a televangelist who exploits the love of the Falls folk. But when his schemes are stopped by the Pines family, he swears revenge, eventually falling in league with the interdimensional evil hiding behind the town's mysteries. Honestly, there's just so many aspects to Gravity Falls that make it not just an incredible show, but a perfect show for me. A really odd but sweet sense of humor, a clear reverence for Twin Peaks and all things David Lynch, a series-wide approach to storytelling that starts with fun one-offs until it hits a sudden gear shift into huge moments and massive stakes. It's a little hard to fully describe the tone of Gravity Falls to someone that's never watched it, but the best way that I can sum it up is that while its mysteries, monsters, and situations are all played for laughs, the story itself always takes these characters seriously, and it's very serious about creating emotional connections between each of these characters, and between them and the audience. All of this is wrapped up in a world of secrets that brings the audience even deeper into a world of the weird. One of the really exciting things about Gravity Falls is that Hirsch and his team created a ton of fascinating lore for this show that isn't just for the sake of laughs or to get an episode going, but has many real connections to all of the creatures and situations that happen throughout the show. And by understanding them, you get to really understand the show on a deeper level. Most of the monsters and lore around Gravity Falls are playing off centuries of North American cryptids. Things like Bigfoot, the Jersey Devil, lake monsters, the skunk ape, the Mothman, and more are all major inspirations for what's encountered in the show. There's also the occasional zombie, gnome, ghost, and merman, but they're all put in the context of the Northwest, where deep woods and expansionism bring us face to face with the supernatural hiding deep within nature. Gravity Falls' history as a town is full of secrets and cover-ups, with characters like the Northwest family being the most villainous of any human and responsible for decades of exploitation. Even an event like Summerween is just so unapologetically American, taking Halloween and moving it to the summer for the sake of the show's timeline, and mashing it up with hot weather Americana.
Wait, summer what?
Summerween! The people of this town love Halloween so much they celebrate it twice a year. And wouldn't you know it, it's today!
Throw in the Summerween Trickster, a monster made out of rejected bad candy, and you have a new American classic. Come to think of it, Summerween is exactly my aesthetic year-round.
Huh. Oh no! No!
All of these things are happening just outside of everyday life, and all it takes is the awareness of them brought by the journal, and the curiosity that Mabel and Dipper naturally bring, to scratch beneath the surface and find out the truth. Broadly speaking, the dynamic of a small northwest town full of quirky people, but much stranger and more dangerous secrets hiding underneath, is pure Twin Peaks. Thankfully, nothing nearly as dark as Bob and the grim fate of Laura Palmer happens in Gravity Falls, but there's a clear connection between Agent Dale Cooper and the Pines twins, as outsiders that come into town to get to the bottom of a mystery. The Horn family and the Northwests as the shady rich family that has too much power over the town, and Bob and Bill as the ancient evils that possess people and wreak havoc. But Gravity Falls draws the attention of the viewer to its hidden mysteries through the not-so-subtle use of cryptograms from the very first episode. Coded messages appear in the theme song, are hidden in shots across episodes, and flash on screen during end credits. For the majority of the show, the messages are silly little comments on each episode's story, but over time, they become ominous warnings of an oncoming apocalypse and the tragic story of the journal's author. They're just obscured enough to catch your attention and then encourage you to search for more. As for how to decode them, there are 4 main ciphers used to understand the messages, with the backwards whisper at the end of each show's theme revealing what to use. Alongside this is a hieroglyphic of Bill Cipher, surrounded by the show's own version of the Zodiac that plays a key part in destroying the demon during Weirdmageddon. At first, Bill is a secondary antagonist, with Lil Gideon as the main villain who uses him to access Stan's mind and take over the Mystery Shack. But over time, Bill is revealed to be an even greater evil.
Hey, wanna hear my impression of you in about 3 seconds?
There's also the ever-present nature of the number 618, a reference to June 18th, the birthday shared by Alex and Ariel Hirsch. It's a fun tribute that also hints at the idea that our own reality exists as a dimension separate from the world of Gravity Falls, one where Hirsch is the creator of this existence. Season 2 really ups the game with secret codes flash briefly after every episode, offering glimpses of the journal pages and requiring viewers to find the codices hidden throughout. It's the type of secret that demands careful attention and multiple watches, and it really illustrates how the Gravity Falls team appreciated their fans' intelligence and dedication to the show. It's all done in a sort of presentation that reflects Masonic imagery and secret societies, hinting at something sinister hidden within the town. Some of these are easy to spot, some are easy to ignore, but all of them show that Hirsch had a plan in mind for where everything was going by the end of his story. For essentially all of Season 1, the mysteries of Gravity Falls remain just that. Mysteries. What is the true nature of this town? What secret is Stan hiding? After all, the first big mystery for viewers is in the opening theme, with a cryptogram at the end saying, "Stan is not what he seems." What does Bill Cipher want with our world? Who is the author of the journals? By the end of Season 1, all of these mysteries remain intact, even adding on a new layer by showing that Stan not only has always had Journal Number 1, but has a gigantic device hidden deep beneath the Mystery Shack that he is powering up. Is Stan actually evil? What does he want? What will happen if the machine works? Well, dear viewer, we're going to unpack the many mysteries of Gravity Falls, so there will be spoilers from here on out. If you haven't seen the show, I highly recommend checking it out, because it's an incredibly rewarding experience. Even without trying to discover all the clues and break the many codes hidden within, the revelations and surprises that happen throughout the show are so exciting, unpredictable, and satisfying, because they're all based in fantastic characters that you really come to care about. So be warned. Okay, still with me? The first truly big reveal of Gravity Falls is that Stan Pines has a twin brother, also named Stan Pines. Well, actually, the Grunkle Stan we know is Stanley, and he took the identity of his brother, Stanford, the six-fingered genius behind the journals who dedicated his life to uncovering the weird, after he accidentally knocked him into the open portal machine hidden beneath the shack, which was Ford's lab. With his brother gone and Stan both broke and determined to find a way to get him back, Grunkle Stan took his brother's identity, opened the Mystery Shack, and has been looking for a way to open the portals again, which requires all three journals. In the first half of Season 2, Stan reveals to Mabel and Dipper that he knows all about the strange things happening in Gravity Falls.
I've been lying about it to try to keep you away from it, to try to protect you from it.
But when federal agents close in on Stan and arrest him, the twins' faith in him is shattered, with Mabel eventually choosing to believe him and let the portal machine open once again.
Look into my eyes, Mabel! You really think I'm a bad guy?
He's lying! Shut it down now!
Mabel, please!
Bringing Stanford Pines back to our reality. Soon afterward, we find out that Ford also knew Bill Cipher, who at first posed as Ford's muse and took over his body to create a portal in the hopes of crossing over from his failing alternate dimension and taking over our world, ultimately being a demon with control over a reality that represents all our fears. When Ford realized what was happening, he hid the journals to stop Bill shortly before the portal accident. So where did Ford go during those 30 years on the other side of the portal? It's never really detailed in the show, but thankfully I have my handy dandy journal number 3 here to describe his journey in full. Ford is thrown into the nightmare realm as soon as he exits the portal, coming face to face with Bill and his monsters in a world that exists as the space between dimensions. The nightmare realm is unstable and will someday collapse, which is why Bill is trying to open up a portal to a new reality that he can take over. But Ford soon escapes and begins a 3-decade-long journey across many different dimensions. They are, unsurprisingly, weird and off-kilter as you'd expect. All the while, Ford becomes an interdimensional outlaw as he steals technology to build the Quantum Destabilizer, a weapon that can destroy Bill. But just before he can finally take out the demon, Stan opens the portal again and sucks him back to our reality. Ford's return in episode 11 of season 2, Not What He Seems, completely upends the entire dynamic of Gravity Falls. It's a really amazing episode filled with tension, real drama, and the excitement of finally having a season and a half of secrets revealed. And the following episode, A Tale of Two Stans, is an emotional trip through the lives of the two twin brothers, narrated by both Stan and Ford, as we see how their strong bond in early childhood, much like Dipper and Mabel, is shattered by a family that pits them against one another, with Ford a genius scientist beloved by their parents, and Stan a broke conman thrown out by them. And with everything revealed, we see them for what they truly are: a broken man desperate to save his brother and atone for his mistakes, and a lost genius who nearly let Bill Cipher destroy the world for the sake of his own curiosity. Ford, voiced by J.K. Simmons, is the opposite of Stan. He's serious and straightforward, where Stan is quick to make a joke and likes to lie. He's scholarly, where Stan has street smarts, and his 6-fingered hands made him an outcast, with his strangeness attracting him to study the weirdness of the world, come to Gravity Falls, and see Dipper as a kindred spirit.
Do you know what this means? We must stop everything I've been working on at once and play!
As for Gravity Falls itself, Ford's journals revealed that the town acts as a weirdness magnet, attracting everything from the monsters to the anomalies to the spaceship buried underneath and even the people that live there. There are other anomalies around the world, but this one has brought all the dimensions together in one spot. The rest of Season 2 is much more focused than anything that came before because, while the mystery of the journal and its author is now solved, a looming threat is now revealed. Bill Cipher is on the cusp of breaking into our reality and destroying it for his own pleasure, but Ford quickly comes to love Dipper and Mabel, seeing Dipper as a young genius like himself that can help him stop Bill, revealing secrets including the massive alien ship that crashed into and shaped the Falls millennia ago, the nature of the multiverse, and his plans to seal up the rift into Bill's dimension. But all the best laid plans fall apart as the rift is opened and Bill arrives, bringing Weirdmageddon with him.
It's the end of the world.
The final 10 episodes are really one long build-up to Gravity Falls' conclusion, as it's only a matter of time before the unstable rift opens and allows Bill to fully, physically enter our world, and every character must make a choice in the battle to stop him. Will Dipper stay in Gravity Falls as Ford's apprentice? Will Mabel stay in the world of imagination that was built out of prison? Will Stan and Ford be able to forgive each other? The 4-part finale of Weirdmageddon at first breaks each of these relationships apart at the worst possible moment, only to bring them all back together again. Weirdmageddon is Gravity Falls fully embracing every possible strange idea and creature and throwing them all at us. But it also pulls apart the dynamic of the show, at first removing Mabel, Stan, and Ford, and even destroying the journals as Bill Cipher takes over the town, putting Dipper in the spotlight and leaving us at our lowest, most desperate hour. From there, it's all about the slow rebuild of our characters, bringing not just the core cast, but many of the most memorable supporting players together for the final fights. And yet, things still go wrong and even the best laid plans fall apart, with Stan choosing to erase his own mind with Bill trapped inside to save the world. It's a final sacrifice that says a lot about Stan and his own self-worth and love for his family.
Guess I was good for something after all.
Thankfully, it's not a sad ending to the show, just a bittersweet one that embraces moving on and growing up. With the two Stans off on a new adventure together, Seuss in charge of the Mystery Shack, and Dipper and Mabel heading back home. More mature and closer than ever thanks to their summer in Gravity Falls. It's such a perfect ending to the show that it's wild to think that Hirsch at one point nearly ended the show after one season, citing massive burnout from its production. Thankfully, Patrick McHale, creator of Over the Garden Wall, convinced him to bring his story to a true conclusion, resulting in the second and final season. And beyond wrapping up the story and mysteries, Season 2 makes Season 1 even better. Characters like Gideon and Pacifica go from cold-hearted enemies to redeemed friends. Grunkle Stan becomes a complex and even tragic hero. And all those strange little tangents from Season 1 are brought back around to help in the final fight against Bill. At its heart, Gravity Falls is a love letter to the power of family and the belief that the family that we have, both by blood and through the people we choose, can see us through the most impossible times. I think it's just so beautiful that Dipper and Mabel are based on Alex and Ariel, and the show in essence becomes a tribute to the love these two real-life siblings have for each other, and the childhood they shared together. Both the finale of Weirdmageddon and the show as a whole isn't just about stopping Bill and saving the world, but whether our twin siblings will choose to grow apart from each other or become closer for the rest of their lives. And it makes me so happy to say that they choose to love each other and stay close. I absolutely adore these two characters and I love the bond they share. Dipper and Mabel are such specific people with their own strengths and weaknesses that don't always align perfectly with each other, but they love each other and support each other, whether life is going well, times are hard, or one of them is making bad choices. It's the type of sibling relationship that I would want my own kids to have, and it's a wonderful affirmation that yes, summer does have to end, and we all have to grow up, but we don't have to leave those happy times in the past. And the people we love will stay in our hearts forever, even if they're not always going to be with us. Following the end of Gravity Falls, Hirsch and company would help the show live on in the minds of fans with several really fantastic experiences. The first of which being a global scavenger hunt for a real statue of Bill teased in the finale credits, all done by Hirsch himself without Disney's involvement. And although there were complications and mix-ups along the way, it was a wonderful thank you from the creator to the fans who had invested their hearts and minds into the show, with the Bill statue still at Confusion Hill, the real-life inspiration for the Mystery Shack. Hirsch has also continued to make Gravity Falls shorts off and on in the years since, and there have been a lot of different comic books, with some written by Hirsch. But the biggest expansion of the show comes in the form of 2 books that supplement and expand Gravity Falls' world in really amazing ways. The first is a real-life replica of Journal Number 3, published in 2016 and containing the many notes written by Ford, followed by Dipper's entries chronicling the show, and closing out with Ford's return and his observations of the final events of the story. I absolutely love this book, and it's a perfect supplement to the show that helps you better connect the many dots hinted at by the lore that Dipper and Mabel explore. There's also a bunch of cryptograms placed throughout that, when deciphered, hint at Bill's plans and the many stories hidden within the town. Having the journal isn't necessary whatsoever to understand Gravity Falls, but it's a wonderful reward to fans who were invested in this story. To me, it makes the show even more special, tying together the more fun and episodic Season 1 with the lore-heavy and interconnected Season 2 for a really vibrant world of the weird. After Gravity Falls came to an end on February 15, 2016, many shows were inspired by its sense of serialized mystery in a family-friendly package, with some of the people that worked on the show going on to make their own cartoons. The DuckTales reboot, which I dearly love, owes a great deal to Gravity Falls' approach in freshening up an old series. Big City Greens was made by several Falls team members. The Owl House draws a lot of inspiration and is able to explicitly contain multiple LGBTQ characters that Hirsch was not able to include due to Disney mandates at the time. And The Mitchells vs. the Machines was made by Falls writers Mike Rianda and Jeff Rowe, going on to be a huge success. As for Hirsch, he's not opposed to one day reviving Gravity Falls, and clearly he's still deeply connected to the world of the show through his continued writings and shorts, but he's been locked in a development deal with Netflix for years that seems to be going nowhere. but I think every fan of Hirsch's is eagerly anticipating anything new from him. It's wonderful that a show revolving around exploring the unknown and embracing the strange has inspired so many more well-loved stories. Because the story of Gravity Falls is not about living in the past. It's about growing up and knowing that there's so much more to see in the world. I think one of the keys to Gravity Falls' enduring popularity and the reason it connects so deeply to fans is that you can really feel the passion and commitment of everyone making this show. From the complexity of the characters, to the quality of the animation, to the amount of jokes, to the fascinating mysteries layered underneath it all. Nothing feels like an afterthought. And that degree of dedication from the makers of the show has been met with love and dedication from the fans that have loved it for years. The lesson I've learned is, keep putting 100% into stuff, said Hirsch. The fans taught me that that amount of care results in that amount of passion from an audience. And I never want to make something that I don't give 110% to. And while it may be almost a decade since the show ended, the love for Gravity Falls hasn't aged. Just recently, Hirsch released The Book of Bill, a successor to Journal Number 3 and a new layer to the lore of the show that sees Bill Cipher recount all of his history to the reader, and even acts as a semi-continuation of the show after its finale. And clearly, fans were hungry for more. With this darker story aimed at fans that had grown up in the time since the show ended, sitting on the New York Times bestseller list for half a year, and the many clues hidden within spurring fans to decode its secrets and find all sorts of online puzzles to solve in the months following its release. I was a relative latecomer to the world of Gravity Falls, but when I first saw it, I instantly clicked with this world of the weird and the people that grow up in it. Because if there's anything I've learned in life, it's that it's never enough to be your best self. The world will always throw the most unexpected challenges at us. The scary, the weird, the moments that test us. And to make it through, we need to remember the people who love us and love them back. Together, all those scary, weird, seemingly impossible challenges will be overcome. And life on the other side of them will be brighter and happier. And we'll all be better for it. Just remember that there are so many people who love you for who you are. And to quote Stanford Pines at the very end of Journal Number 3, stay curious, stay weird, stay kind, and don't let anyone tell you you aren't smart or brave or worthy enough. See you again soon, Gravity Falls. Thanks for watching today's video, and I'm back with covering another animated series. If you watched my video last year during the Halloween season, I made a video on Over the Garden Wall, and said at the end of it that I was planning on covering Gravity Falls. And now, here we are. I won't lie, it took a while because I wanted to rewatch the show a few times and do a lot of digging into the lore. And also I thought that it would be perfect to release a video on Gravity Falls as we enter June. Because as you might know, the story of Gravity Falls spans from the beginning of June to the end of August. And it's really shaping up to be a beautiful summerween here on the channel. Every rewatch of Gravity Falls has cemented this show as being one of my favorite shows of all time. Not just a cartoon show, but a show in general. I absolutely adore its characters, its story, its mysteries, its art, and of course all of those hidden codes throughout that you can decipher add so much more to it as well. And I really do love the Journal Number 3 and Book of Bill books that were published recently. They are a dream come true for a fan of the show. So if you haven't read them, I really recommend checking them out. Will there be more Gravity Falls someday outside of comics and books? I don't know, but I would love some sort of return for this show. After all, the show ends with a promise that Dipper and Mabel will come back to Gravity Falls the next summer. And selfishly, I just really want more of this world. I would also like to see something new from Hirsch come out in general, but I have no idea when that's going to happen. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Gravity Falls, your favorite modern cartoon shows, and other animated series that you'd like for me to cover on the channel. As always, a huge thank you to my members and patrons for their continued support, and if you'd like to be a member or patron, it's only $2 a month for early access to every video, and exclusive member and Patreon-only reviews. Also, my members and patrons recently voted on what the prize would be for hitting my goal of 200 combined members and patrons, and the winner is a comprehensive retrospective on Chucky and the Child's Play movies. That will be a complete public video on the channel for everyone to watch, but it's only going to happen when I hit 200, which I think will be pretty soon. So look forward to that in the near future. So until next time, I hope that you're taking care of yourselves and spending a little bit of the summer in Gravity Falls.